Hello, Booktube. I wanted to do a appreciation and a farewell to the Vaginal Fantasy Book Club, which has been a part of monthly part of my life for about 6 years. That's how long it's been going, and also just sort of a little look to the future post this little wonderful kind of monthly chocolate in my life. So Vaginal Fantasy Book Club, comprised of Felicia Day, Veronica Belmont, Bonnie Burton, and Kyla Casby. Casby. And they met monthly, and as Felicia Day said, it was usually said at the beginning, it's like, hello, internet, no, this isn't porn. This is a bunch of women getting together to discuss fantasy romance books with some science fiction, some horror, and the odd, just straight kind of romance book tossed into the mix. And they used kind of the Google Hangout, video conferencing, where they're all in kind of different cities, but they all got together as kind of obviously friends who knew each other, and they got together and drank and laughed and had hilarious conversations about various digressions, and also talked about the books every once in a while. And it was sort of funny sometimes. You could like, oh wow, this book really hooked them, and other times it just kind of went off wildly into their own sections, and they'd have their own kind of the little segments of like, who would you cast in this if this was made into a movie. Felicia Day is probably best known as like, she's the actress on a lot of on Buffy, on Joss Whedon. She's the writer, director, producer, I don't know, director actually, of like The Guild, which is a big thing actually on YouTube. And she's also stars, I think, on Supernatural, show I don't watch anymore, but stuff like that. Veronica Belmont is someone I know from the Sword and Laser book club, which is, I think, probably if you look at Goodreads, it's the one of the other larger kind of book club things. So Sword and Laser is now just strictly a podcast, which is another fun one to listen to if you're ever looking for something in the science fiction and fantasy thing, for just a kind of a mix of news and just sort of a late monthly discussion of one of the books that they've selected. Bonnie Burton is a freelance writer. I think she was a lot into like kind of the Star Wars industry for a while there, is employed in that, and is just really fun woman. And Kyla Casby is another writer, but yeah, they were all, you could tell they were all friends, and they really kind of got together and just had fun discussing these romance books. And for myself, it's like, I'm not a romance guy. I didn't read a lot of romance books. I read a few of the books that they read. Some of them actually, I think they did Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, and that kind of overlapped with me, which sort of accidental, but I didn't make it it wasn't a big deal to me that I didn't actually read the books that they discussed, because they were very good at kind of summing up, bringing you along for the ride of what they're gonna talk about. But also, as Steve Donahue has said on his videos, and I think a lot of people echo, it's much more about the people that you hear, the people discussing the books versus the books themselves, of what you get out of it, because you're getting out their personalities. That's why you kind of come, their personalities, their opinions, their feelings, just the general flavor comes from. And books are just that wonderful thing that hopefully brings that out in people. But they've been going for 6 years, and sadly, life gets in the way, things, and it was just getting harder and harder for them to get together monthly to sort of do that. So they decided to shut down, and they've had a really good run. I mean, boy, 6 years in internet years it's forever. And it's funny because it was one of these things of like, I got to participate in a book club without having to be a part of a book club, because I don't think I'm just not a book club guy. I'm terrible at organizing my reading. I'm a slow reader, and also I'm a mood reader, and I don't think I could be a good book club member and take on the onerous task of actually having to read a book a month. Even though I read books, always reading, and it would just I don't think that would work for me, but this was a wonderful thing where it gave me the opportunity to participate in that without having to be the guy who was like trying to fake his way through the book or whatever, or just say continually, "Oh, I didn't read that this month," or "Oh, I didn't read that this month." That was really good. That was really good to me, and I can see that hopefully for the future around the BookTube community, you're starting to see how Steve Partridge has got his kind of video, his live chats, which is sort of him. It seems to be him on camera, and then there's the kind of the text room rolling around below, and he's sort of the moderator, the host. And I know that the Paperback Junky is going to start doing interviews with booktubers, which I'm assuming is going to be kind of one-on-one videos, so that there's going to be that kind of, it's not really a book club thing, but it's using that technology to kind of connect disparate people. Where as a booktube community, we're scattered all over the place, and Tokyo or Canada here, or England, or all the places in the States. So it's one of those things where I can see that this sort of idea of just sort of hooking up video wise and doing that will be, I can see that being much more of a future. And it's one of those things I don't think I look forward to participating in as much as I look forward to being a happy audience member to. I've been very happy to kind of jump into the BookTube world and make my own videos, and it's been a real education, and just just the effort of trying to organize my thoughts, and trying to communicate to you out there has been really good for myself, I think. But I think I look forward to being in the audience and watching perhaps some other booktube clubs show up as the technology becomes cheaper and just easier to manage. So I think that's it. I like to just end off by saying yet again to the Vaginal Fantasy women, thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Kyla, for such a just a wonderful, fun 6 years, and inviting me into your book club, inviting so many other people into your book club to get to just enjoy that kind of that friendship, and that was very appealing. And I know that you all are going to go off and do wonderful things individually, and continue to do all the wonderful things that you do individually. And I'll look forward to that too. So that's all for now, BookTube. I would encourage you. I'll put a link into their playlist, because they've got so far 68 episodes of them meeting up, 68 months of 68 books of them going through. There's going to be a very appropriate 69th episode coming up soon. Will be their final episode, but I figured I'd get that out before now, just to put my thanks into the universe. I don't think any of them will be watching this, but yeah, I just like to thank you. This is just one viewer out there saying, "Wow, that was fun. That was awesome. It almost made me want to join a book club." Almost. More videos later.